Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of BadgerBlitz TV. I'm Jake Kokorowski, senior writer at BadgerBlitz.com. Of course, your home for all things Wisconsin football, Wisconsin basketball, and most importantly, Wisconsin recruiting. And we have a big show today. It is Friday morning. We're going to get this up by about noon Eastern time, 11 a.m. Central time, up on our YouTube channel and on our website too. We are really excited. It's Wisconsin, it's Rutgers, it's a cross-divisional clash. Wisconsin leads the all-time series 3-0 against Rutgers, but on Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Central Time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time in Piscataway, Wisconsin and Rutgers will duel once again. And joining us today, really happy to have him on, Chris Nalwasky from The Knight Report. That's theKnightReport.net and Rutgers.rivals.com. Chris, thanks for joining us. And first off, Rutgers looks like it's rebounding over Chris, with Greg Schiano and just what he's doing there in New Jersey. 4-4 record, 1-4 in the Big Ten. Kind of dropped off over the past month after a good start. Just what are you seeing out of the program this year to get them to the 4-4 mark?
Yeah, they played. First off, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. The first couple weeks of the season, non-conference, they didn't have the non-conference games last year, so it was good to get them back on the schedule. And they really played well. They really forced a lot of turnovers, and they scored a lot more at the beginning of the year. And then they ran into the Michigan, the Ohio State, and Michigan State, and back-to-back weeks. Northwestern was kind of a letdown. They did have a lot of injuries that game. The bye week came at a perfect time. They got rested. They kind of adjusted some things. And the last week against Illinois, they played the run extremely well, and really held down the Illinois offense. They had over 300 yards against Penn State the week before, and they held Illinois to only 107, I think it was, on the ground. So that was a big reason why they won the game. The players, they're all doing a good job so far. They still have a chance to make a bowl game for the first time since 2014. There's still a couple games left in the schedule, a couple winnable games. I'm not sure about this one against Wisconsin, but the rest of the way they do have some. So.
And with that too, let's talk about the injuries for that matter. And one that sticks out, you and I talked about it earlier off, this week, and that was through our DMs and our and our emails and our Q&A that folks can see on BadgerBlitz.com. Previewing Rutgers. It's Aron Cruickshank. It's a wide receiver, dynamic kickoff, now punt returner for Rutgers and what he's done there. I know earlier this week, head coach Greg Schiano discussed just how the status is pretty much unclear and how Cruickshank wants to go, but they're also not going to play a player that's not ready yet. Is there any updates on Cruickshank and just what could be expected if he can't go on Saturday in terms of a really good Rutgers special teams unit?
Yeah, there's no update so far. They didn't really talk about injuries. We'll probably find out something Saturday morning, or Saturday afternoon right before the game, but that's about it. He really changes the game on special teams. They lose a lot when he's not there. The first game he missed, they had a fumble punt return, and then Northwestern scored right after that. Last week they used Avery Young at punt return, and he mostly just fair catches it. He doesn't have the dynamic speed like Cruickshank has. He's really explosive. So, other than that, we'll see if he can go. He got injured a couple weeks ago. Hurt his shoulder pretty good, but he's improved a lot, as we talked about too, at receiver. So he's a big weapon for Rutgers, and if they don't have him, it'll be not a good sign, I guess.
And let's talk about that offense real quick for Rutgers. You may not see this on your end, but looking at, we have a slide up about Rutgers offense. Points per game, just under 24. Rushing yards per game, 143 per contest, 3.5 yards per carry. Passing for nearly 200 yards through the air, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Third down conversions, about 35%. They have allowed 14 sacks in 8 games, so less than 1 per contest. And the turnovers, they've actually they've held on to the ball less than 1, 3 interceptions, 3 fumbles lost. Just what makes this offense roll? Is it the running game where they try to run first and then they go from there?
Honestly, it's mostly about limiting the turnovers, like you talked about. The big stress for the whole season has been not turning the ball over. Noah Vedral is very careful with the ball. They don't really take too many deep, long throws, deep shots. So they kind of pass short and everything like that. The main question and the main theme this whole season has been the offensive line play. They've struggled a lot at times. They've had some injuries. Right now they have 2 former defensive tackles starting at guards. You have a walk on at right tackle. Raekwon O'Neal came back last week at left tackle. He really kind of settled things down, I guess. Kind of really helped the offense there. But yeah, as the whole season, Greg Schiano has been saying, the team will go as far as the offensive line goes, and and you see they finally played well last week, and Rutgers won. They ran the ball extremely well. Isaiah Pacheco, Kamanungai, both ran very well. Had combined for over 100 yards. So and Rutgers had over 200 as a team. So Noah Vedral even ran the ball. So the main thing that they do want to do is run the ball, and it's going to be really daunting against this Wisconsin defense. So Rutgers will need to have some sort of a passing game, get Bo Melton going, maybe some of the tight ends. So it'll definitely be a challenge. But the Rutgers offense has, or they did play a lot better last week. So.
Right, and of course, Wisconsin's rush defense #1 in the nation, allowing under 50 yards per carry, about 1.7 yards per carry. Under 50 yards per game, 1.7 yards per carry for Jim Leonard's unit. It's always intriguing to watch just how they stuff the run and whatnot. But going to the other side and just how Rutgers plays, on defense, allowing 21.5 points per contest, about 144 per game, yards per game on the ground. That's right around 4 yards per carry that they have. Passing yards, they've given up 13 touchdowns. Up to, and then 4 interceptions, also created 4 interceptions. The one stat that sticks out to me in this, Chris, is the fact that the third down conversions, they're 11th, one of the best in the FBS in terms of stopping opponents on third down, 29.2%. And they have created some turnovers. They're +4 overall in the season. They have 15 sacks. But what's been standing out about the defense, and just where are some areas that could be of concern against Wisconsin this week, but where could they also thrive?
Yeah, the main thing for the defense is getting healthy. A lot of guys in the secondary this season have been banged up. The defensive line is going to have to really play well against Wisconsin. Like you said, they're kind of hot and cold against stopping the run. They played really well against Michigan. They played really well against Illinois stopping the run. And then there's other games where they couldn't stop anything. The big thing this season has been giving up big plays, and that's both in the passing and running game though. So that's going to be key there. But yeah, a couple guys standing out like Olakunle Fadukasi at linebacker, Julius Turner at nose tackle. So they're going to have to play well, really in the middle of the defense, really, to kind of have a chance. So, but the defense is Greg Schiano's calling card. They do bring a lot of blitzes, which I'm sure, probably helps on that third down conversion percentage that you mentioned too. So, but they do need to get some kind of pass rush this week. That's been kind of non-existent, and a turnover too will certainly help. They haven't really gotten a lot of turnovers since the beginning of the year, so turnover would be huge if they can get those.
I mean, especially too, Wisconsin hasn't turned over the ball much too in the past 2 games. They're +6 over the last couple of wins against Purdue and Iowa, which is a vast different story compared to what was happening earlier this season. So that's going to be key for Wisconsin as well, just making sure that they protect the ball, especially on the road. No sudden change opportunities against Rutgers, who I'm sure would love to capitalize on any mistakes Wisconsin has and they inflict upon themselves. One of my last questions coming up for you, Chris, just in terms of keys of the game, just for Rutgers. What's one key on offense? What's one key on defense for the Scarlet Knights to try to pull off this upset against the Badgers on Saturday?
Yeah, offensively they have to try and run the ball. I know Wisconsin obviously is very good against the run, but they're going to have to try and establish it at least a little bit. You can't just have Wisconsin tee off on Noah Vedral. He's gotten banged up a lot this season. He's probably the toughest dude on the team, but you can't let him take any shots. You gotta try to run the ball, establish something there. On defense, kind of the same thing. You got to stop the run. Wisconsin is a great running team. They got the giant offensive line every year, so that's going to be key there. And then I want to also mention special teams. Aron Cruickshank, best punter in the country, in my opinion. He's going to have to flip the field and kind of keep Wisconsin down by their own goal line, I guess. And, the big thing for this game is honestly the field position battle. So, Rutgers has to, have better starting field position in order to have a chance with this one, too. So.
Absolutely, yeah. That's always that third phase of the game is always fun, and Wisconsin for that matter. I mean, if Cruickshank is able to play and be dynamic, I mean, Wisconsin has given up some big plays on kickoff coverage. Obviously the one against Notre Dame back in late September in Soldier Field, which led to a 31-point onslaught by the Irish that Wisconsin couldn't answer. Then even last week, the 44-yard return by Charlie Jones against Wisconsin, which the defense, for Wisconsin's sake, stalled out with a 3-and-out right away. But that's still they came back and they took care of business thereafter, and Paul Chris praised them for that, but it's also just something to watch. On Saturday, I was going to say to you, Chris, before we let you go, what is your prediction for Saturday in Piscataway? Can Rutgers upset Wisconsin, or what's your pick coming up this weekend?
Yeah, I think the spread right now is about 14 points or so. It could be totally off on that, but I'm going to go Wisconsin is going to blow past that and win 34-10. In years past, in the last, since Rutgers joined the Big Ten and started playing Wisconsin, Wisconsin has been outscoring Rutgers by an insane amount. I think Wisconsin's defense is going to be too tough against Rutgers, struggling offense. And, the defense is just going to get gassed by the running game and get tired. And, so I'm going to go 34-10. And, but, Rutgers still has a couple games left after this one to make a bowl game. So this couple chances.
I was going to say with that too, Chris, extra bonus question. Do you think Rutgers gets to a bowl game this year underneath Greg Schiano?
Well, a tough one. I'll be positive. I'll go yes. If offensive line continues to improve and the defense gets healthy and stops runs, they have winnable games against Indiana and Maryland after this, and they're going to get up for the Penn State game. So it'll be definitely interesting. I think they definitely have a good shot. And, the guys last week really seemed to believe that they have a chance. So it's up to them, as Schiano says. Schiano said a couple times in the last 2 weeks that, the team has the pen to write the story for the rest of the season. And, it even starts this week. You still have to play the game. Obviously Wisconsin's probably the better team, but you still have to play. You never know. College football is, it gets crazy at times, so you never know.
Oh, I know how that goes. And then what before we let you go, Chris, what else do y'all have going up on the night report and coming up on Rutgers.rivals.com? For the game, we'll have plenty of post-game content, articles. Every once in a while we'll do a video, kind of recapping things. We just have a couple articles. Basketball starting up soon, so that's always exciting. Rutgers had a very good season last year, and they should, be very good again. Thanks for having me on, and I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the game. Oh, Chris, I appreciate you, man, especially you coming on, and I know you've been busy, and everything like that, so it's just making time. We appreciate it, and, folks, that's Chris Nalwasky from, like I said, The Night Report. Real quick, before we let everybody go, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. It is free, so subscription does not equal payment. On YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Why? Because we like feeling good about ourselves. On top of that, it also gives us the ability to it boosts us up, helps us with this mission of creating new content and unique content compared to what else is on the Wisconsin beat. Follow us on Twitter too. For Chris, it's pretty easy at Chris Nalwasky, Nalwasky. For me, it's at Jake Coco, Koco. Like us on Facebook, search Wisconsin Badgers on BadgerBlitz.com. The easiest way to go. And, folks, we're not going to have a Keys to the Game show tonight on Friday evening like we've done the past few weeks. We'll have, I'm going to do a live stream. Since I'm not going to Piscataway, we'll have a live stream coming up on Saturday night after Wisconsin and Rutgers. So y'all have a great start to the weekend. We'll talk to you Saturday night here on BadgerBlitz TV.